My name is Michelle Hazelton. I work at the Tommy's Peacock Bar and Grill. I do security, night security for the nightclub. I have two children. One is 16, female, and she goes to CHS. My son, Keith Emery, he goes to Sheldon School. I broke my ankle I guess it was about a year ago in the winter. It was a really bad ice storm. I stepped on the ice on a slant really bad and broke my ankle in half pretty much. And at that point in time, I couldn't work. I was off for 3 months with no pay, with no real insurance because it wasn't a work-related injury. I had no way to pay for it. I did have Oregon Health Plan, which took care of all the medical costs, but not the rent and food and everything else. So therefore I was on assistance, but I could only get so much assistance, not enough to really get us anywhere. We ended up being evicted from where we were living.
I moved to my grandparents because I decided that I needed the extra help because my mom was working pretty hard to keep money so that we could live in the house and keep us off the street.
When I went back to work, luckily I work with some really, really great people that were very helpful in helping me find a place to stay, and they helped me get into the Lancaster Bridge Apartments where I met the management staff there, who have been nothing but great. I looked at a lot of low-income housing, and I have to say that Lancaster Bridge was the best that I found in Corvallis. If I hadn't gotten into Lancaster Bridge Apartments, I'm sure that I would have found another low-income housing to be at, but I don't think that I would have been as involved as I am. I don't think that the other places that I would have looked at, or that I did look at, had the kind of opportunities that Lancaster Bridge has given me to be able to better myself and my family. That doesn't mean I'm going to be in low-income housing forever, but sometimes people need a little bit of help in between those areas. And I hope that there's more people out there that believe that too, so that we can keep it going.
My name is Mike Baker. This is my wife Linda, and this is our daughter Hannah. So that's.
About a year ago, we were forced out of our rental place, and it was either find another rental or decide to buy and have something to call our own.
We learned about Willamette Neighborhood Housing Services through the internet in regards to finding about the buying process and different programs that were available. We learned that we could get a little bit more advantages on some of the house buying processes. So we were able to get the information to get in contact with the right people.
And once we found Willamette Neighborhood Housing Services, we walked away at the end of the day going, wow, we didn't know that all this was available to us. And we just felt so much more relieved that now we had some options that were willing to work with us and people who would work with us. And it was all out there on the table for us at that point.
You were able to see different aspects of the buying process with different people, as far as realtors or insurance reasoning, or even as far as to the banks for lending purposes.
Homeownership is important to me because it gives you something to have for yourself, and it's just a way of raising a family to me. That's how I was brought up since I was little, and we've always just kind of owned our houses, so it's something that I looked forward to do too one day.
Having your own house.
Say it! You're so emotional.
Biggest thing is that as long as you can be there and make those payments, it's yours.
Homeownership for Hannah is great. She tells us every day she loves her new house. And she's so excited she can go out, she has a yard to play in, and just kind of be herself, her little girl.
It makes makes me happy.
Oh.
Elise has been living at Stone Street for about 3 years. Our house has always been very busy with all of Elise's medical needs, and you know, we've been blessed with a lot of people that have helped us from time to time, and it's sort of been a hospital in disguise, full of activities and just trying to keep everything afloat. We found out about Stone Street through Benton County Mental Health. The people there have always known about Elise and had us in their care. When they'd always asked us if we were ready to have more assistance through in-care housing, and I was always adamant that it wasn't time yet. But when we decided that the time came, she was getting bigger and I was having a hard time caring for her. We contacted them and said we might be ready, or actually they contacted us through just yearly checks, and that's how we find out. They told us all about it. Elise really loves living here at Stone Street. Of course, you know, we missed her at home, but this is like at home for her. She has the best care here, and the equipment that she needed that we didn't have at home, like this wonderful jacuzzi bath that she just loves to be in. We couldn't do that at our house. She had outgrown the equipment, and she's safer here because there's more people around the clock to care for her. It was just getting so hard for me to do it by myself. Well, Elise's quality of life here at Stone Street is doing just fine. She goes out on activities, and we as her family can visit her as many times as we want or take her out. So it's only adding to what she got at home. You know, we still are part of her family, and she just has now more friends and more caretakers. She can be self-sufficient, and we know that she'll be taken care of, because if, you know, there wasn't housing out that would be affordable, then after we had gone, you know, there was always a worry about where she would live and how she would be taken care of. Elise is part of a community where there's a local church and other houses, and just like it would be if she was living at home. I think that having more support with the nursing staff here at Stone Street and knowing that she's being well taken care of, it has helped, because now I can come and do fun activities with her as well as be part of anything important that needs to happen. We would just like to thank Willamette Neighborhood Housing Services for providing such a great facility for Elise and others to live in.
Willamette Neighborhood Housing Services helps families.
Willamette Neighborhood Housing Services helps educate people.
Willamette Neighborhood Housing Services changes lives.
Willamette Neighborhood Housing Services made home buying possible.